Hey guys, Toby here from Hadler Fitness. Alright guys, before we get the vlog started, I really just want to say, if you are struggling with anything fitness or nutrition related, email me or comment below. I'm here to help. More than happy to help out anyone that's struggling, because the biggest place where all information goes to die is the graveyard. My head is full of information, useful information that I can help you with. I can answer any question, or if I can't help you, I'll point you in the right direction. I'll do my best to help you in any way possible, all right? So comment down below or send me an email. Email is in my description. All right, let's get this started. All right, so today, first off, I'm gonna go through my 5 favorite stretches, and we're gonna talk about accessory work.
You won't do right, you leave a nasty cut. Oh, I cry until I dissolve. Come on, watch my heart turn to black paper.
So today we're going through accessory work. So what I mean by accessory work is isolation work, exactly the same thing. So it's extra work beside your program. So we're talking about bicep curls, up, down. So they can be with dumbbells, or they can be with a barbell, dumbbells, or it can be with cables or ropes. Or you can do body weight exercises. And then we've got triceps, so tricep push downs, skull crushers, all that kind of good stuff. Then you've got your anterior, lateral, and posterior deltoids, so front, side, and back. So we're talking lateral raises, face pulls, and frontal raises. Generally, the front delts get a lot of love from doing shoulder press and doing chest press exercise. So when you're talking bench and shoulder press, this front bit's going to get a lot of love. So what's missing out is we're talking about the actual side head and the attaching muscular the attaching muscular. So basically the attaching muscle from this posterior deltoid head. So when you break it up into 3 different heads, that's the way I like to look at it. So front, side, and back. So the side doesn't get much love. So the way we work on that is doing bent over rear flyer, or you can do face pulls. So face pulls, or you can stimulate a lot of growth in these doing above the knee rack pull and shrugs real heavy. So you're going to hit that trap, and you're going to hit the rhomboids, the lats, and the deltoids. So this is a very awesome topic. I love this. This is one of my favorite. Okay, and don't forget the calf muscles. Calf muscles are in there as well. Okay, so these muscle groups, so bis, tris, deltoids, traps, and calves, is what defines your physique. Okay, if these are lagging as opposed to your chest, you're just going to look out of proportion. You're not going to look filled out. Okay. So you need to make sure you're stimulating these muscle groups at least 1 to 2 times a week. So here's a little exercise video.
Come on, watch my heart turn to black paper.
Exercise video basically of my little session that I do. I usually do a giant set, or a tricep. So generally I'll just do face pulls, bicep curls, tricep push downs, or I'll do a face pull, lateral raises, and bicep curls, and I'll mix it up between doing preacher curls and hammer curls. So generally on the hammer curls I'm doing a lot heavier, and then slow contractions with on the bicep curls or preacher curls, whatever you want to call them. So basically in that little video, that's basically what I do at the end of every workout. So generally I'm working out 4 times a week, so I'm stimulating these areas at least 4 times a week for 2 sets. Is doing it in a giant set or a super set the best way to go about it? Yes, maybe no, but it's what works for me. It's what gives me a well-rounded upper body, and I can't really say much of my legs. Genetically, that's probably just an excuse. I'll work my calf muscles out like I'll put a lot of effort into them, and they're tiny. So yeah, I don't know. But in regards to these, mainly built up of slow twitch muscle fibers. Obviously there's going to be slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers in there, but generally they're stabilizer muscle groups, so they're going to take a lot of reps to stimulate some growth. So I'm talking like 15 to 30 reps, and you still need to do lower reps as well. So when you're doing the above arachne rec pull and shrug, so when you're going down and up and shrugging up, that movement was completely outside. So when you're going boom, and so you're basically doing a quarter of a deadlift and you're shrugging.
When I'm with you, I like me better when I'm with you.
That's really going to overload all this upper body. You're going to stimulate all the muscle groups. So you're going to get that upper trapezius, mid trapezius, lower trapezius, the lats, the rhomboids, and you're going to get in all heads basically of doing that shrug when you're doing above and knee rack pull and shrug. So that's going to stimulate the lower reps or really heavy side. And then you can do the higher reps with the during the accessory work. So basically, like when I'm talking lateral raises, so like the side raises you see people doing, like I generally only do them between 5 to 10 kilogram like weights either side. 7.5 generally my sweet spot to get close to like 15 to 30 reps out on. And I'm making sure there's a lot of time and attention. Up quick, hold, down slow. So the main emphasis is really to burn out these muscles, because your deltoids is really what gives you that amazing V taper. And the same goes to bicep curls. Full range of motion, so none of this shit, none of that, none of like exercise like that, force reps. I'm talking full range of motion, because when you look at studies and all that kind of stuff, basically the most muscle recruitment, the most muscle activity is at this lower end and that top bit. So basically when the muscle's like that and it's fully stretched out, so when it's fully elongated and when it's fully contracted. So doing quarter reps here, you're missing out on that. You're only doing partial range of motion. So all the way down, all the way back up, not fully all the way, like fully hyperextend your elbow, but just there, keep the contraction there. So boom. So heavier is not always better. So aim for a lighter weight and do more reps, because muscle growth is directly related to volume. So if you're doing, say, a higher volume, you don't want to be doing 5 reps on bicep curls because it's an isolation exercise. And basically when you're doing bench press, like pull-ups, lat pull-downs, any back exercises, generally these muscles are going to get a little bit of love during those, okay? So this is just the cherry on top. So basically from that video, that's my giant set. That's what I like to do. So you need to be working these muscle groups out to get a well-defined figure. So if you want to look fucking good naked, you got to make sure you're putting in that little bit extra work, but you have to identify what muscle groups are lagging. So generally for myself, my shoulders are they're not filled out as much as I like. My traps could do with a little bit more work. So I'm slowly applying progressive overload to my above the knee rack pull and shrugs. So my traps are going to be responsive a lot more. So my traps are going to get a lot bigger. So I want to build up my traps, build up these, and obviously my calf muscles. And I'm working on this every single session. I'm not training till complete utter failure. So just basically momentary muscular failure. So on the bicep curls, basically when I feel the burn, and then I'm just going to stop there and move on to the next exercise. I'm just doing roughly 10 to 15 reps on each one for 2 sets. So for example, I'll do the face pulls, the bicep curls, the tricep push down. So I'll do 10 to 15 reps on each one, depending on like what I've done. So I'll auto regulate it. So basically I go until I can't do any more, and then move the next exercise, have 1-2 minute break, smash it again. Okay. So I'm doing this every session. And basically when I get comfortable with one weight, and I can do that relatively easy, and then I move up a weight. So that's applying progressive overload. So you need to make sure you're doing these. If you want to get a really amazing figure, like you want to look fucking good naked, this is what you need to do. And going into the gym and specifically having an arm day as opposed to going in and doing, say, an upper body session, you're not really doing yourself any favors. You could have like an accessory day, like sometimes I do on a Friday. So I might do Monday upper body, Tuesday lower body, Wednesday upper body, Thursday lower body, and then Friday might be my accessory day where I'm just working on mobility, core exercises, my muscle weaknesses, and just overall doing some yoga stuff, just really just stretching out, just get ready for the weekend, then might have the weekend off. Depending on your periodization, basically what I mean by depending on how your programming is going to define what you can handle, okay? Because you don't want to go and smash as many bicep curls as you can, because then if you work this muscle out too much when it comes to doing bent over rows or pull-ups the next day, if you have an upper body session, you're gonna be pre-fatigued going into the session, and you're not gonna be able to get in the required volume to stimulate muscle growth. So compound exercise is better than an isolation exercise, but the isolation exercise is there to build up muscle groups that are lagging in your physique. So everyone has different lagging muscle groups. This is one thing you have to identify yourself. Generally, people that have postural disorders, talking like kyphosis, scoliosis, lordosis. So these are generally like rounded shoulders, Donald Duck posture, or an S-bend basically in the spine. So you're going to have muscle imbalances, and generally you're going to have internally rotated shoulders like this, and you're going to be able to see your clavicle, and like you're just sit at a desk all day like this when you should be sitting nice and pronounced, up straight, shoulders externally rotated, sitting comfortable. So you're gonna have to do some more face pulls, some more rear delt work to help seat that shoulder more comfortably in the shoulder girdle. So these are things you might have to get someone to help you identify, or seek a mentor, or do the research yourself. Generally, if you know what your posture is, you know if you have bad posture, like if you have lower back pain, you don't lift weights, maybe you have a postural disorder, or maybe some sort of like bulging disc or whatever. But you have to identify this, and then identify your weak areas and what you need to work on. But just remember, you don't have one day dedicated just to those isolation exercises. They are at the end of every session, basically after your primary periodization. So if you're doing like the big 5, and then after that you have 2 sets on each. So you go and do some lateral raises, some calf raises, maybe a little bit of trap work, like whatever it is. You have to make sure you get it in, otherwise you're missing out. You're missing out on gains. So that little bit of extra work at each session, that 5 minutes, that over a year accumulates to so much more. So basically, if you're lifting, I don't know, say you're doing 10 kilos for 10 reps or 2 sets, you're lifting 200 kilos, and you're doing that at the end of every single session. That 200 kilos over a week, if you did that 4 times a week, it's 800 kilos. That over 10 weeks is 8 ton, and that progressively on your bicep could be the difference of like 5 to 20% muscle growth, depending on whether you're a beginner or you're more advanced. So periodization and having volume targets, man, being accountable to your workouts, like, it really matters. You have to make sure you're tracking this shit. I've found this is what's taken me from intermediate to more so advanced. I'm not saying I'm the best in the world or whatever. I'm just saying this is what's helped me progress, holding myself accountable and applying progressive overload and tracking my lifts on a rough basis. So just understanding that I may do 10 kilos like straight for 4 weeks, and I need to go up some weight. So I need to apply progressive overload, whether that be more sets, more reps, or a heavier weight. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. The video's going for a bit too long, and I'm yabbing and jabbing and all that kind of stuff. So if you have any comments or anything, subscribe, comment below, like, share the video. As always, catch you in the next one.